What if you could freeze the world not to save it, but to strip it bare, to touch beauty without permission, to do what only your fantasies allow? Meet Ben Willis. He's an art student whose life takes a hit after a tough breakup. The heartbreak leaves him restless, unable to sleep, and nights stretch on endlessly. To keep himself occupied, he picks up a night shift at a supermarket. Like everyone else, he's just another guy stacking shelves. But Ben looks at the world differently. His artist's eye notices small details in people that others miss. Over time, Ben discovers a strange ability: he can freeze the world around him. Time stops, and people remain frozen in place, and only one who can move freely. At first, he uses it as an escape from his pain. But soon, it becomes something more, studying people as if they were living sculptures. For Ben, it's not about power, it's about capturing beauty, details, and moments that would otherwise slip away. The story begins with Ben Willis, an art student, caught in the middle of an emotional storm. His girlfriend, Susie, breaks up with him in a sudden and harsh way. The breakup isn't just sad, it feels violent, almost like his entire world collapses at a single moment. The breakup leaves a permanent mark. Ben is unable to sleep. His mind refuses to switch off. Nights become unbearably long. While most people drift into dreams, Ben is stuck in reality, watching the clock and living hours that feel like days. He realizes that when you can't sleep, you have a kind of extra life, 8 more hours every day to fill. The problem is, what do you do with it? To escape his sleeplessness, Ben takes a job at the local Sainsbury's supermarket, working the night shift. On the surface, it's mundane work, stacking shelves, cleaning, moving boxes, but it gives him a rhythm, something to keep his restless mind occupied. The supermarket becomes his new world, and here we meet the cast of quirky co-workers who add humor and chaos to his nights. Jenkins, the manager, lazy, crude, and always looking for shortcuts. Barry and Matt, immature jokers who waste time pulling pranks instead of working. Sharon, the cashier, quiet, thoughtful, and kind, the complete opposite of Susie. Each of them represents a different kind of escape from the monotony. But it's Sharon who captures Ben's attention in a subtle, meaningful way. Ben's unusual way of looking at people didn't begin in the supermarket. It started much earlier, back in childhood. His first crush was Innocent, the mother of one of his school friends. He didn't understand attraction yet, but he knew there was something about her presence that made him pay attention. For him, this was the first time beauty felt unreachable, but worth observing. Then came his second crush, this time closer to his age. Another girl from school, playful, loud, impossible to ignore. With her, it wasn't distant admiration, it was the thrill of someone his own age making his heart race. And there was a third, Natalie. She was different from the others. She represented the confusing, exciting side of growing up, when friendship starts to blur with something more. Like most boys, Ben and his friends were curious. They'd sneak a look at magazines they weren't supposed to see. And of course, one day his mother caught them. For Ben, the embarrassment was unforgettable. But it also left an imprint, that mix of curiosity, shame, and fascination with the human body. All these moments, the unreachable beauty of his friend's mother, the spark of his schoolyard crush, the intensity of Natalie, and even the awkward discovery of adult magazines became part of who Ben was. They didn't just give him memories, they shaped the way he saw women, not as passing figures, but as subjects full of detail and meaning, like art. This is why, years later, when he finds himself freezing time, he doesn't just look at people, he studies them. Because for Ben, beauty is fragile, and he's terrified of letting it disappear before he can hold it in his memory. even in this dull environment, Ben's imagination thrives. He doesn't just see people buying groceries, he sees shapes, colors, and emotions. For him, every person becomes a subject of study, every detail worth sketching. Here the surreal element begins. Ben realizes he has the ability to stop time. Everything around him freezes: shoppers, employees, the sound of movement all locked in a single moment. Only Ben moves freely in this suspended world. At first, he uses it as a form of escape. Instead of endless, painful nights, he now has an entire frozen reality where he can wander without interruption. Ben starts using his ability in a way that shocks some viewers, but also ties back to his passion for art. He undresses women while time is frozen, not to exploit them sexually, but to study the human body as if they were living statues. For him, nudity isn't vulgar, it's beauty, form of art. In the middle of this strange double life, Ben slowly grows closer to Sharon. She's gentle and funny in her quiet way, nothing like his ex. With her, Ben starts to feel genuine warmth again. We see subtle scenes where they share glances, small conversations, and little moments that feel more real than the fantasies of frozen time. After all the strange supermarket nights, the frozen moments, and Ben's private world of insomnia and art, the story takes a sharp emotional turn when Sharon invites Ben to a party. On the surface, it seems harmless, just another gathering, music, people drinking, laughter in every corner. But for Ben, this night is where his past and his present collide. Ben walks into the party with Sharon. Their connection has been growing slowly. She's been a quiet, grounding presence in his chaotic life. With Sharon, Ben has started to feel like he can breathe again. For the first time since his breakup with Susie, he isn't consumed by heartbreak. But the universe isn't done testing him. Inside the house, in the middle of the noise and flashing lights, he spots Susie, his ex, the girl who broke his heart and triggered his insomnia, the one whose rejection pushed him into long supermarket shifts and endless nights of staring at the ceiling. And suddenly, everything changes. When he sees her, all those old feelings and wounds rise back up. Susie, who left him in such a cold and painful way, suddenly seems interested in him again. Maybe it's the alcohol, or maybe she just wants to test his feelings. In a moment of weakness, Ben gives in and kisses her. It's not passionate, it feels awkward, almost desperate, and Sharon sees it. She doesn't make a scene, doesn't scream, doesn't cry in front of everyone, but her silence cuts deeper than words ever could. The look on her face says everything. After the kiss, the party continues. But for Ben, the atmosphere shifts completely. Sharon withdraws. She doesn't cause a scene, but her distance is worse than any argument. It's the kind of silence that feels permanent, like a wall going up brick by brick. For Ben, this is devastating. The moment he thought he was regaining control of his life, he almost destroys it. He realizes Susie doesn't bring him happiness anymore, only emptiness. That kiss wasn't love. It was weakness, nostalgia, a bad habit he hadn't let go of. Later, when Ben finally shares his frozen world with Sharon, it carries so much weight because of what happened at the party. He almost lost her. He almost trapped himself in the past forever, but he doesn't. By the end, when he walks with Sharon through the stillness of frozen time, it's not just a romantic gesture. It's proof that he's chosen her and the heartbreak that nearly destroyed him. When Ben finally finds peace with Sharon, his creativity explodes. For the first time in a long while, he's not drawing from pain or loneliness, he's drawing from love. Ben spends hours working on his paintings. What makes them powerful is that they're not just about Sharon's physical beauty, but the way he sees her. The art captures moments of stillness, expressions of vulnerability, and the subtle emotions that only he notices. People who see these paintings recognize something rare in them, not just skill, but truth. They're beautiful in a way that feels timeless. In the later sequences, it's shown that Ben's paintings are good enough to gain attention. His professors, mentors, or people in the art world see his work and understand that he has something special. His professors recognize his talent and organize a seminar to showcase his work. For Ben, this isn't just an academic opportunity. It's proof that all the sleepless nights, the sketches, and even his strange gift of freezing time have led to something meaningful. Among the people invited, Sharon is there. When she walks into the seminar, she doesn't know exactly what to expect. She's seen Ben as a co-worker, as someone troubled by heartbreak, as someone who makes mistakes, but she hasn't yet fully seen him as the artist he really is. The hall is filled with Ben's paintings and sketches, but they're not just random works of art. Many of them are of Sharon herself, not in a crude or obsessive way, but in the way Ben sees her delicate, timeless, full of quiet beauty. Standing in front of his paintings, Sharon experiences something profound. She sees how deeply Ben feels, how differently he perceives the world, and how much of that is tied to her. And in that moment, Sharon falls in love with him. Not because of grand gestures, not because of dramatic confessions, but because his art silently reveals everything he's been holding inside. The film ends on a hopeful note, with Ben and Sharon together. The frozen world fades into the background, replaced by real love, real connection, and the acceptance that life is beautiful precisely because it moves forward. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. More stories are waiting to be told, and I'll be here to guide you through every frame.